Talk to me. Okay. All right. Let me finish saying this. No one cares about anything outside of their feelings. All of us, including when we try to justify it as logic. That's literally our feelings, right? That's part of our emotional needs, including security, safety, our need to contribute to other people's lives, our need for growth, our need to engage personal growth. All of that is coming from a place of feelings. All of it. We're human beings. Okay? But yeah, what are your thoughts so far? Not to make sure I collect your thought now because I
So
won't go
these
over
people,
time.
they're messing my brain up. First of all, I don't know what that guy is saying. I would have agreed with him if he would have said, men are committed to men's feelings are sorry, men's feelings are attached to what they see, like their feelings are visual. You know what I'm saying? So if he had said something like that, I would have gone with him. Do you understand what I'm
Right.
saying? I would have like, okay,
Maybe
this, yeah,
to an
to some
extent.
extent, this makes sense exactly.
Yeah, right,
But
right,
him
right,
saying
right,
that, I'm like, I don't know, because it's for men, it's always like first visual, then they go ahead to see what they have inside. I mean,
right.
don't get me wrong, we have few men that are attracted to women that are like smart and other styles that has nothing to do with looks, but it's not a lot of them. Trust me, it's not a lot
Yeah.
of them. And then for women, like we are attached or we get committed to how you make us feel. You understand what I'm saying? So
Okay, that's closer to accurate. That's closer to accurate than just being committed to just feelings.
right.
Um, yeah, yeah. How we
So
make you feel as a woman can
it's
make a
very
lot of
important to
difference.
us.
Yeah.
It's very, very important to us. So she's saying that the woman can love you. If she's somebody with six pack, she will follow the person. First
No,
of
no,
all,
wait.
that's
We'll
not
get there.
true.
We'll get there. We're gonna dissect that, right? So
So
I just wanna go statement by statement right now because
okay,
I'm just going back. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
all right.
Because there's a lot there, right? You know. But
Mm-hmm.
right now, based off of what he's saying, men are committed to marriage. It's not necessarily the same thing as committed to the woman or committed to faithfulness. These are
Fact,
these are
fact.
different things, you know.
And
So
if you remember one time in one of your shows, I said one thing I've learned from your show is that anytime anybody makes a statement, the first thing I always ask is, "What do you mean?" So, like a lot of men's idea of marriage, we've seen people like the Ekenes and the rest of them. Some of them are committed to marriage because they want to have offsprings. You understand what I'm
right,
saying? Some of them are
right.
committed to marriage because that's what the society says, that's what your culture
But
says,
it's
that's
also a
what this
lie.
is.
It's also a lie. Wait
Right,
until a
right.
woman cheats on them. That's when you know it's a lie.
Exactly. That's why
Because
I'm
if the
saying
woman
that.
already gave you children, what do you need faithfulness for? Right?
Right,
If that's all you're
right.
looking for, right?
And that's why I'm saying I always ask, what do you mean when people say that? Because and at the end of the day, you find that people's perspective are all different.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. So now, women being committed to their feelings, all of us are committed to their feelings. It's not necessarily a commitment. We just don't care
Right,
about anything outside of our feelings.
right,
We might justify with all different talking points, trying to use logic to arrange it, including our sense of religion. It's because it
right,
makes us feel safe. It's a
right,
feeling, you know.
right. And our
So,
feeling can be anything too. Our feelings can be like, can be different. Like people's feelings differ. You understand what I'm saying? So like
what do you mean?
some men like that feeling of that woman that makes them feel like that will validate them. You understand what I'm
Yes,
saying? Right.
yes,
So
yes.
exactly.
Once you
So
feel
for some,
validated, it
right,
skews the way you
right,
move. Yep,
right,
yep,
right,
yep.
right. And then for some women, some men, what are you able to bring to the table? Like that's what it is for them. And this applies for toxic people.
In the
They
long
want to,
run, in the
yeah,
long run, yes, those things show. But when you just meet a woman or you just meet a man, in fact, if we're gauging it, right, character, feelings is up here. You're just in love,
right, right,
you know. Even though you might have gone through some classes and you think, listen, you're caught up in your feelings, you really like that, and especially the younger you are. If you are
yep,
a man or woman of a certain age, you might move a little bit more intentional,
yeah. And
particularly because you've
priorities
had
will change.
experiences, right? Aha,
Right,
priority changes. But ultimately, we all get caught up. In fact, we wouldn't do we wouldn't attempt to do life with a person. It just doesn't make logical sense unless you really like the idea, feelings
Right.
of being with this person for a long time. You fell in love. One, if you can't get into that space, that's why you're seeing that the older people get, the more difficult it is for them to settle down, because
Correct.
that part of the brain is engaging more and more.
Yeah.
They're getting more cerebral about the
And
process,
they
right?
yeah, and they're getting established. So and
Yeah.
then the
And they
need
don't
is
have to settle
becoming
too.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Let me go through a little
If
bit.
he's committed to a woman,
Women are more loyal to their feelings
So this auntie is taking the words and just decide to flip it. Women are more loyal to their feelings.
than
That
to
thing
your
threw me off.
sacrifice.
Wait, say that again.
I said that thing threw me off.
She said that to your sacrifice. I'm confused. Feelings and sacrifice in the same sentence. I'm just confused. But anyway.
Women are more loyal to their feelings than to your sacrifice.
Oh, than to your sacrifice as a man. If you're a
Yeah.
man, you sacrifice.
Yeah.
She's more loyal to her feelings than to your sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like Brother
And
Patrick
that's
said.
and that's why I said that doesn't apply to the gold digger.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounded like some extreme situation where some
Right.
girl came right off Allen Avenue and come and just sweep your money because she only cares about your money. That's what it sounded like. But everybody else is listening to this, and everybody else have experiences that may make them feel like, Abi, that's what that girl did to me. Is that what
Yeah,
she did?
and some of these girls have idea of living large lives. So if they're with whoever man they are with, and he doesn't have that, the moment they see somebody that has that, I saw somebody sent an email to Joro on Instagram today, and they were saying how they met a guy that was married, and he dated him. He kept her in a hotel in Lekki. She likes it. Now she's back to her boyfriend's house. He cooks with stove. She doesn't feel like the Lekki the boyfriend's lifestyle for her on the meal line is for her. She wants to go back to Lekki. So that's what this girl is talking about. But let me give you a clear example, right? Growing up for me, up till I got married, if
Right.
I'm dating one person, I don't see anybody else. I don't care what you have, Hallmark, Bentley,
So what
whatever.
percentage of girls do you think are like that? That are loyal like that?
Honestly speaking, I feel like the older you get, it becomes like that. People become more intentional. But for me, right from growing up, it has always been like that.
You've been that girl. Like you
I
can't double
I
date.
don't do comparison game. I don't be like, oh, look at what Allah is doing for his wife. I wouldn't know. Once I'm with this person, I'm kind of like content.
You're
So I know
content.
my expectation. I don't try to like see like how I can lead you to a better person now.
So once you're with the person, you are engaged. Not
Yeah.
just engagement, but you
Yeah.
engage that person.
Yes.
That's your
Yes.
world. You can't really see
Yes.
anything else anyway,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you don't feel that way, you wouldn't be with that person. Anyway.
Yeah. And honestly speaking, aside with the whole like everything happening now with social media and the rest, I feel like women back in the days, a lot of them used to be like that. Like when a woman is in love, that's all she sees and hears. People can be telling you stuff about your man, like he's a cheater. I saw him with this one. Women are not gonna believe because they are deep into it and they don't see here past anything because of that. Because of the way that he makes
So
them
I don't
feel.
know the numbers, right? I don't know the numbers, right? But what I can tell you for sure is that what we've seen when we're growing up is what we think majority is, right? If everybody around you, let's say you're a church girl, you're a good girl, you were raised in a home, even if you play outside, by 7 o'clock, everybody enter inside, you eat dinner. Everybody know what room everybody is, right? If you were raised that way, there's a tendency that your friends and family friends were also raised similarly, right? There's a
Right.
tendency that you go to school that's mostly what you see. So you see the world as that, right? Until you start going outside, maybe you go to university or something, you now
Getting
see
exposed.
different lifestyle, right? And then I feel like people that were exposed to their mother was an Iyamileko that always went to party on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? And and their mother was a single mother, and there were different men that go in and out of the house. They tend to have friends and family friends who are also similar, right? So they also tend to see the world in that light. They might see the world as all the girls are wrong girls, right? That's how everybody sees it. So we all generalize. Is my point off of our experiences, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
Oh,
understand what you're saying, but let me, sorry to interject. Let me ask you a quick question.
yeah.
Growing up, even until now, in the ratio of men to women, how
Mm-hmm.
many how many men do you see that when they see them with girls and ask them, what did he see in her compared to women? People asking a woman, what is she dating this guy for? What is she seeing in him? What ratio will you rate it based on what you know off your head?
Like typically, what would the girl see in the man?
Yeah, I'm just saying because like it's more of the women, people asking the woman like, is she dating that guy? What is she seeing in him? It is more to the
Like they
women than
don't.
it
You're
is to
saying
the men.
they don't ask the men that question. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because just to I'm just trying to like um explain this lady's point that she's saying
Her point
women
of
are,
view. Mm-hmm.
yes, women are like committed to their feelings or whatever. And I'm saying
Right.
that those
So
th-
she's correct. Her statement is correct.
no,
But I'm gonna add context to the statement.
okay.
Men also don't care about anything outside of their feelings. They don't care about your
And the feelings
sacrifice.
is visual
Their feelings
to
can be
some extent.
stimulated by visual,
To
right?
some extent, yeah.
Right. Man, we like what we see. That's generally accepted, right? That's the point she was trying to make. That's what you were just trying to say. That women are more asked, "What did you see in that man?" than men, right? Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Men are generally accepted to be visual, okay? But that's just the moment when you see something. What about beyond that moment, right? What about beyond that moment? Why would you engage a girl beyond just the looks, right? Beyond, why would you say, okay, this person can potentially be my wife or my girlfriend? It's a little, it's more, eventually it's much more than the looks, right? Just like everybody else, right? So it is true that men are visual, okay? But you will find today that more men are coming out and saying, no, I'm sapiosexual. I like intelligent girls. There are more men saying that today than ever before. So, because it's such a temporary thing, I don't really see the significance that men are visual. I don't really see the significance in the majority of this conversation because it's temporary. It's just when you first, the same way where we see Nyash, big Nyash, and we say, yeah, right? Yeah, men
Right.
are visual that way, but it's a temporary thing. It does not go all the way into majority of these conversations that we're trying to inject it into, right? The reason why we settle with a girl is much more than her looks. That's why you see a lot of men that you were like, with all those fine girls I see him dating, you might say, wow, she's not the prettiest in the world, but I see maybe because of the character, this is what he's seen in her, right? So men are not just marrying for looks. Men are also confused. They will say this about themselves, but the reality about people that have married is that there's more to why they married a person or settled with a person, and it's not just because they are fertile. A lot of them will say because she's young. No, it's bullshit too. It's because they fell in love with something about that person, and it's more internal than it's external. Okay, and that, like, even I'm looking at the Davido, right? What's her name?
Mm-hmm.
Chioma is not the best looking girl of all the girls. I mean, you can easily imagine that. She couldn't. There's no way she's the best looking girl of all the girls that Davido has seen, right? But Davido, I
Yeah,
was
but
just watching
because
the video yesterday. He's known her forever. He's known her since she was 17 or something like that, and he's been in love with the idea of this is my wife for a long
that
time.
he's in love with the idea of his enabler. That's what he is.
Whatever, however way you want to look at it, right? But the same gist, right? It's much more than the looks. Is my point, right?
Right.
It's never, the looks is it's an extremely temporary thing for all men. Yes, dare I say it, for all men. Okay. Now, even when it comes to you married a woman, right? If you stimulate me, if you look good in the house and stuff like that only has effect to a certain level, right? It's more important. The conversation we had yesterday is much more important. The tone in which you talk to me, the way you make me feel validated as a king, right? Yes, you make
Mm-hmm.
me feel validated as a king. The way you talk to me, the way you edify me, that turns me on more than anything else. In fact, you might have a new hairdo I might not notice twice in a row, and it might be the bomb. And it's a very dangerous game that men play. We get complacency, right? We don't notice certain things, right? Once it's always in our face, if you always look good, right? And we kind of expect it, right? But it's the thing that we don't expect that stimulates us, and it's usually something more internal, something less external view, all those kind of like what do you call it, myopic things that we talk about, So that's what I see in a lot of this conversation. So what she said, anyway, back to the conversation, right? Women are more loyal to their feelings than to your sacrifice. The same is true for men. Men are more loyal. If you talk to him some type of way, if he gets caught up in his feelings, you might just finish wiping out the whole house. Sacrifice your whole day wiping out the whole house. But if you're talking to him some type of way, right, that made him feel less than, he will get caught up in his feelings too. Okay? And I know that the point that she's trying to make is make a distinction between men and women, so that the whole conversation is defeated. Does that make sense?
I think I'm kind of like lost to the last explanation you gave about she validating that women are attached to their feelings no matter, they're committed to their feelings regardless of the sacrifice. Isn't that what attracts us to the man?
Well, again, wherever attraction in general are temporary in nature, right? They're temporary, okay? Now there's a form of attraction that you maintain over time where this is my king, this is my queen, nobody can tell me nothing. There is that part, right? But if we're talking about what attracts you in the first place, that's also a different conversation. Yes, if a man sacrifices for you, that attracts you, right? But if he's always sacrificing for you and you kind of know that that's always going to be there, the effect of it gets watered down, because we all take for granted anything that's readily available. We all do it. We're ingrates, okay? That's the point I'm making. And we have to be intentional about this. Like, let me make sure that I'm appreciative of the little things that may seem so little, that is so consistent. Let me make sure I don't become an ingrate, right? It's something you have to be intentional about. Like if somebody bought you Range Rover every other month of the year, right? Eventually, it's not going to have the same effect on you like a girl who has never seen Range Rover before. You get the gist?
Get it?
Yeah. So so just because a man is sacrificing for you doesn't mean you won't get caught up in your feeling. Just because a woman is wiping the floor with her mouth all day doesn't mean you won't get caught up in your feelings. Even if you lost your job that day, even if it's something else, even if it's sickness, right? I was just watching Love and Marriage with my wife upstairs, and the girl said libido was affected by the cancer treatment, right? Like even outside of medical, you're fighting for your life, for crying out loud, right? There's just only so much room for certain things. Of course, a lot of things will be tampered with, right? Including how you feel about sex with your husband. And so it's nice, considerate for her to be she was being considerate of the husband, right? But it makes sense. She was fighting for her life, So there's only so much room in our head for certain things. But particularly we're talking about sacrifice, feelings. We all get, if you are appreciative of the sacrifice of your partner, that still comes down to feelings at some point. Like you feel appreciative of what somebody does for you. You feel that the height of that appreciation is higher when it's a new thing, when it's a new feeling. Once you keep getting that same sacrifice every day, you have to now tap your brain and say, Baba, remember, this is a big deal. The brain will actually forget that this is a big deal because you see it every day. Okay?